Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another rainy week here at Lit Bashing. And when I can't prime any models, the only thing I can do is buy many models. So I have here my long-awaited, because I couldn't afford it, box of Knights, the Knight House battle group for the Questoris Familiar. Or, if you don't want to collect the Questoris Familiar, just to use as Legion support for any of your other armies. But I will be using this as an army in its own right, because although it's not huge, it's only about A4 in size and about that thick, hidden within this mighty but tiny box is about 2,500 points worth of models, which is a full army. You know, you could, if you wanted to, boost this with a few armigers or some Solar Auxilia or Legion allies if you liked. But to be honest, 2,500 points, that's more than an evening's worth of gaming if you're going all the way to 5 turns. To be honest, even if you're not going all the way to 5 turns. But the advantage of using Knights in a 5-turn game is each turn doesn't take quite so long. I played against Knights with Dark Mech the other night in a 1,000 point game, and we got through all 5 turns in about 2 hours, I think. Started about 8 and finished about 10. So yeah, it can be done. And with the low model count of these big boys, it's a very easy way to get into the game. Not easy in that there are lots of special rules that they have being knights, and definitely not easy in that you haven't got the objective control, but they are beasts, they are monsters. So let's see what's involved. Now this box is a little bit infamous for being teased an awfully long time before it ever went on sale. It was on a Warhammer community article so long ago, before Legions even existed. Saying, oh, when Legions is released, this will be coming out for it, with some of the repackaged Titanicus Knights. And then it just never came out. And I don't know whether they were waiting for the Questoris Familiar to be released as its own army, or whether they just were suffering from the supply issues that they had been for a while. But in any case, it is here now. But it is in a little bit of an older style box compared to some of the newer ones. I'd pointed out that the newer ones had Games Workshop on the back again, but in a slightly new logo, just a kind of plain sans serif text rather than their fancy blocky kind of bubble letters that used to be on the outside of their shops. And also the new ones don't have this little Citadel colour wheel on them. So yeah, I don't know. I might see if I can find a date on it somewhere. There's nothing obvious. Copyright, oh yeah, here we go. Copyright 2023. So this is 2025 now. And I know it came out just before, it came out Christmas. So they've been sitting on this exact design of box for a while, but it's not been coming out. I wonder why. Just in case anyone was interested, it does say copyright 2023 there. Interesting. Right, let's see what's inside then. I mean, we know what's inside. It says on the back, 12 Knights. I believe this is 100%. Yes, so this is the size they are. We've got 4 of the Cerastus Knight Lancers. Only Lancers, none of the other options, but to be honest, they're the best ones. They're the ones you're going to want. 6, which is equivalent of 2 boxes of the Questoris Knights, and 2 Agastus Knight Porphyrions. So that works out to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kits in this for RRP is £95. It is direct only, so some places are selling it at a slight discount, presumably as a loss leader, because it is officially direct only. So you might be able to find it for around, I suppose, between £85 and £90 third party if you like. But from GW, it is £95, and 5 kits for £95 doesn't average out too bad at all, even with the slightly reduced price compared to the others that the Lancers have. So let's see what we've got inside. Lots and lots of sprues, surprising. Absolutely no one. Fun fact, Sprues officially isn't English because sprue is a mass noun. So there's actually lots of sprue rather than lots of sprues. But hey, if the Americans can get away with saying Legos, I can get away with saying sprues. So we have 2 Acaster sprues there. We have 2 of the extra weapons for the Questoris Knights, including the Thunderhawk gauntlets, and I played against a knight wielding 2 of these, and it was very, very silly in terms of just how easily he was able to smash up buildings and then double rend his way into me. So they're definitely worth looking at. This side is the... Which ones are these? Oh, these are the Questoris Knights. God, they are chunky, aren't they? I know the Cerastus are taller, but the Questoris are certainly chunkier. Fascinating. So we have 2 of the Questoris main sprue and 2 of the Cerastus Lancer sprue. Lovely. And the bases for them. And we have a nice mix of bases. We've got a couple of designs of the 40mm base. I don't think there's only 2 or 3 designs that exist of them. Not as varied as the 25 mil ones, which are by far the best bases I think Games Workshop have ever produced. Isn't quite as much variety in the 40 mils, but at least we have some variety. So they match up, they match up, they match up. I don't think those are unique. Yeah, with a bit of a heavier gutter in those 2. So it'd be nice to get those mixed up a bit more. 4 of one design and 1 of each of the other 2 isn't ideal, but you know, they're still pretty good bases. The same, unfortunately, cannot be said for the slightly bigger bases. So I think there is only 1 design of the 50mm base. So at least all the 50mm I've got have got the same design, which is a shame because you do start noticing it if you've got a lot of 50mm models. Yep, there's another 2 there of that same design, which is a little bit of a shame. And again, there's only 1 design of this 65mm one as well. This is the base size that Games Workshop has always called 60mm, but it's always been 65 ever since the days of it being flat Carnifex bases. It's always been 65. I don't know why they call it 60. I've mentioned before they've got in trouble before by commissioning companies to make the wrong size bases for them. I think even in the Middle-earth Strategy Battle Game book, when it lists base size in the model rules, it says 60 and it still means 65. I have no idea why they're still doing that. Either way, if you don't believe me, measure your 60mm bases at home and realise they're actually 65. Anyway, give us more of them, give us more designs, is the moral of the story here. The other ephemera that comes in this, we've got the Questoris instruction manuals, Cerastus instruction manuals, and Acastus instruction manuals. It is a shame that they are only the black and white ones. We just get 1 copy of each of the instruction manuals that come in the boxes. With the other battle groups, they got their own fancy big colour one, which was nice. This is probably best for the environment, so I can't really complain. But, you know, the big shiny plastic ones as a special treat for those who buy the battle groups was quite fun. They are, generally speaking, quite well labelled, so the different weapon options have got nice labels to them. So you know the difference between your Helios defense missiles and your Ironstorm missile pod. And I know it's the only option that comes with this, but it shows you've got the twin Magna las cannon, and if you want to get any of the alternate resin weapons you can, and that's where you'd swap them out. Same with the Cerastus Knight Lancer, only 1 weapon option, but it does tell you what it is, which is nice, and shows you that either arm can be left or right handed, and having a mix and match is good. these are lovely models. I might show you some of the ones that I've started painting later, because they are lovely, lovely kits. Questoris Knights as well, incredibly modular. Lots of different options. You can have heavy stubbers, you can have melt guns. You can give them banners if you want banners, leave them off if you don't. These officially aren't posable, but with a couple of snips they are. You can give them chainswords, you can give them left chainswords, right chainswords, you can give them left power fists, right power fists. You can give them all the different variants that this kit can have on the 28mm, and they're nice enough to tell you what they all are, which is lovely. We're not just left to guess. And even better, it shows you the base loadout for the different models. So there you go. That's what a Knight Gallant looks like, with and without the double fists. What the Knight Warden looks like with or without a fist. And what the Knight Paladin looks like. Lovely. So yeah, this is a really nice kit. I'm going to enjoy building some more of those. We also get the Gumph for Adeptus Titanicus, and someday I will play it. I'm just a bit obsessed, in case it wasn't obvious, with Legions at the moment, but you know, from everything I've read and thumbing through the rulebook, it looks like a lovely game, really tactical, really well designed. You know, I'm just into Legions right now. I can't, I know we're talking about Knights right now, but tiny infantry is just, there's something about it, you know? You see a little base of 5 and think, I couldn't even fit a single one of you in 28mm scale on this 25mm base. Now they're all on 32s. So it's very funny that I've got 5 of you on this teeny tiny base. So yeah, I enjoy that. But I will give Adeptus Titanicus a go. And please do mention in the comments, because I know the AT community is very vocal about how great the game is. And I believe you, I really do. But the more you try to convince me, the more eventually I will be. And we've got 3. So again, 1 per kit. It's a shame there's not more. I suppose realistically you wouldn't use all of them, but you know, there's a chance you might. It'd be nice to have had 2 of each. So there's kind of 2 to represent the 2 Cerastus you get, the 2 Questoris you get, and the 2 Acastus you get. But you know, they're still good, and I think a few of the bigger Forge Worldy transfer sheets are still available as well. So again, like I said, if you split these up all into individual units, I think I'll put it up on the screen, the army I worked out. If you give all optional weapons to them, then you're very, very close to 2,500 points. Which means you could be a bit cleverer with how you split them into detachments and formations, and you have a full 2,000 point army here to play very, very solid games. So yeah, if you give every Questoris Knight its funky little special weapons, then you end up with a very decent army indeed. I think you end up with 2 barony formations and the Bastion Acastus formation, and those 2 between them, you know, excellent. And if you're able to supplement all of these with the armigers, either in resin form or waiting for when they're inevitably plastic, then you'd easily be able to get a Vanguard formation in there as well. By mixing and matching, and end up with some serious army under your belt, and one that's quite easy to play as well, because you don't, activation takes an awful long time in Legions. I don't know if there's a way to speed it up, but that's by far the most time consuming part of Legions, and when you have so few models, you know, activation takes an awful less time. So yeah, definitely worth considering. So just to recap the total contents, we've got one Questoris kit. We have a second full Questoris kit, and between them, one transfer sheet. We have two full Cerastus kits. Again, you don't have the other options there, but to be honest, you don't want them. I think the one with the sword, the one with the Gatling gun, they're not as good as this one. Even this stupid weapon that it has, kind of laser that blasts out of the shield, is the only ranged weapon this has, and that completely wiped out a Cerastus Knight getting into its behind last night in a game. And those two as well come with a single Cerastus transfer sheet. And then these are the ones I haven't built yet. The reason I kind of bought this was I wanted a couple of Acastus Knights, and by the time you're getting one box of Acastus Knights and realizing you need a couple more Cerastus for various projects, you think, well, I might as well get one of these battle boots before they go. And again, that at least is one box, one transfer. And that is what is involved in this here box. So in terms of bang for your buck, particularly points wise, this is one of the best things you can buy at the moment, not counting all the fact you get all the Adeptus Titanica stuff as well. This is a great box. It's only available direct, but even direct at direct prices, you know, it's not bad. I know they're not 28mm scale knights, but still, imagine getting 12 knights for, you know, about £90. That's fun. And they're really, really good kits too. It would be slightly more worth the price, I think, if we had a bit more of an interesting instruction manual. It seems like a really minor thing, but it's quite nice. It makes it quite an event getting a whole army in a box when it comes with a nice bespoke instruction manual. But, you know, these are nice too. And again, recycle very well. So now I'm going to take a brief pause. You'll probably see my hands do this and then disappear, because I'm going to go show you the knights that I have been working on so far, so you can see what they sort of look like. And as if by magic, here they are. And again, just to show you how super easy they are to pose, I was able to get these. They actually link together as if they're battling with the... Because ion shields don't do anything in close combat, fully just stabbing through the shield while the other one acts defensive. So yeah, they're great kits, really nice to pose. I haven't put any of the transfers on them yet. I haven't decided what colour I want to do their various glowy bits. Blue seems the obvious, but is it too obvious? I don't know. But either way, they're going to have a nice glowy bit there, and glowy eyes as well, probably glowy weapon tips, and then some decent dry brushing on the base. But yeah, they're my House Malanax. Interesting, because they've got these massive shields, I'm not giving them the little ion shields there. It recommends you do, but to me, double shields seems a little bit overkill. But maybe not. Maybe you could use the arms and give them 2 shields plus 2 iron shields, and heck, take some of the Questoris iron shields as well. See what that does. So yeah, there's the beginnings of my House Malanax, and I know I need to build and paint the rest of them, and I will look forward to doing that very soon as the rain bloody stops. And on that note, my usual thanks to all of you for following, liking and subscribing. My special sexy thanks to all of my Patreons who help me, you know, give me the option to go, oh, I want one of these, but if I do all this, I can do an unboxing and I can build some, and the ones I don't use I can turn into, you know, basing or for a bigger project or give away, stuff like that. So thank you to my sexy Patreons and everyone who doesn't skip the YouTube ads for adding to my silly funds for this silly project. And thank you to all of you for watching this video. I hope this was interesting. If you're on the fence about whether or not to buy this, I hope it's pushed you one way or the other. That's the point of these videos. It's so you can see what you get. I know you can look up online, but it doesn't quite tell you the same as actually seeing it in person and seeing what they can actually look like. So I hope this has helped some of you. And if not, I hope you've enjoyed listening to my dulcet tones as usual. And as soon as I can, I'll get some decent kit bashing out there. I've worked on, there's some very silly stuff to come. I just wish that the rain would stop so I could undercoat it without worrying about it going all fuzzy. Because, like I've said before, a fuzzy 28mm model is one thing. A fuzzy 8mm model is just fuzz by that point, and I don't want any of that. So thank you for watching. Peace and love, as always, you wonderful human beings. Stay safe, stay happy as best you can, and I'll see you all on the next one.